This PlayStation 3 doesn't power on, and we're probably not going to be able to fix it. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Justin and I try to fix broken electronics, but today I'm going to explain why you shouldn't buy Yellow Light of Death first gen PlayStation 3s with the idea that you're going to fix it. Now, first things first, what is the Yellow Light of Death, or YLOD if you've seen it on the internet? Technically speaking, it's a general hardware failure. It's a lot like the red ring of death that plagued the early Xbox 360s of the same generation, and they both kind of came about for the same reason: heat. This generation of consoles was really pushing the boundaries of what was possible at the time, especially for the form factor and costs that they were trying to get at. Well, you know, for Microsoft and Sony, not so much for the Nintendo console. It wasn't that powerful. For more cost, they could have engineered it to be more thermally efficient, designed bigger cases, bigger heat sinks, and that would have likely fixed some of the issues and saved some of the consoles. But they didn't, and both consoles suffered because of it. While the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death was the more well-known problem and seemed to manifest itself earlier in the console's life, probably somewhat due to the fact that the 360 was released a year earlier, it became the poster child of manufacturing shortcomings and prompted Microsoft to expand the warranty so that they could be repaired for free. This meant that the Yellow Light of Death that plagued the fat versions of the PlayStation 3s went kind of unnoticed by a lot of the mainstream. The PS3 was really pushing the technology, and that meant it was pushing out a lot of heat as well, and heat's not great for consoles, unless you're trying to remove a dead chip, of course. But what we're here for is how to fix a PS3 with a Yellow Light of Death. If you Google search ways to fix this, you're likely to find a lot of videos and guides, mostly older videos and guides, that show how to fix this issue by replacing certain capacitors, like these token capacitors. And they claim that it'll fix the problem, or any number of other fixes that might fix it temporarily. But really, these aren't fixing the root cause of the problem. Because unfortunately, the root cause of the problem is the RSX chip, or the GPU, in these consoles. And while it's possible to replace these, they aren't easy, especially for the newly initiated microsolderers among us. And that's what this whole video is about. It's a warning to those who might be new to the console repair hobby. As I've talked about in other videos, I like to use my experience to help others who are interested in this realm of repair. That also means using my failures or screw-ups to help prevent others from making the same mistake. I, without really doing the proper amount of research, bought a few PS3 Yellow Light of Death consoles early on in my journey, thinking that I would be able to fix them because I saw guides and videos on how to fix them. I had seen that it was possible to fix 360s or the Red Ring of Death, and I'd already fixed a few PlayStation 2s, so I thought, how much harder could this be, really? It's a common enough issue, and there were plenty of videos and guides claiming to have fixed this problem. But it wasn't until I actually had the consoles, started tearing them down and really looking at it, that I realized that I wasn't going to be able to fix these, because I didn't want to just temporarily fix the consoles, and that's what it turned out all of those fixes really were. They were ways of fixing problems that brought the console back to life for a time, but the real issue still remained, and it would continue to pop back up after a while. The real issue was those RSX chips. They run extremely hot, and that deforms the solder connecting the chip to the board, and sometimes almost inevitably it deforms the solder between the chip and the substrate, and that's not something you can really fix. You see, it turns out that when people were fixing these other issues, say these token capacitors, what they were really doing, it seemed, was putting a lot of heat into the board, and it kind of reflowed those chips or fixed any of the broken connections under the RSX chip. Then the console would work for a time, but eventually it would fail again. It's somewhat similar to the towel method people used early on with the 360s, to wrap it in a towel and get it to run really hot so that it would kind of warp itself back into position. It was, again, just a temporary fix. I won't get into all the specifics of why this is an issue, but I will link to a great video that really goes into depth on the issue and why it's practically unfixable. I will say that these boards were some of the first to use non-leaded solder, and it seems like that caused some issues with the engineering of the chips, and might be the real culprit behind this problem. Well, that and the extreme temperatures they ran at. Now there are ways of fixing this problem permanently, but they require you to take an RSX chip from one of the slim models. Not the super slim, just the second generation of PS3s. Obviously, this isn't a simple solution by any means, and that's why I would caution anyone new to this arena away from doing one of these repairs. You also have to do some messing around with the firmware, I believe, in order to get the console to work properly, but it is doable. And I mean, really, the only reason to do it is because of the backwards compatibility that comes with the fat PS3s. And really, that's only on the 20 gigabyte and 60 gigabyte original PS3s. Those are the ones that had the Emotion Engine chip from the PS2 actually integrated onto the board, and they could run PS2 games natively. After that, even on the fat PS3s, they had to use emulation to get backwards compatibility, and with that came some compatibility issues, and it wouldn't play all games. So really, the 20 gigabyte and 60 gigabyte are the coveted PlayStation 3 fats that you see still going for a decent amount, which I don't even understand, because PS2 is hard to emulate even on like more powerful systems now, but you can take a PS2 and modify it with an HDMI connector, which is really the only benefit that you have, in my opinion. But so now that you understand what the issue is with these PS3 yellow lighted desks you're likely to see for sale on eBay, I really hope you take a moment to consider that before you purchase them hoping to fix them. They're really not an easy fix, and I'd hate for you to do what I did and waste your money buying one, or especially a lot of them, thinking you're going to be able to fix these because you've seen videos on how to fix them. Worse still would be actually fixing one partially, selling it on eBay, and then having the person turn around a week or two later saying, hey, my PlayStation 3 is dead, I want my money back. Then you're out the money and also the shipping, and that's not what you want if you're new to this, because you don't want to be in the hole too much already. Well, I know some of you started watching this video hoping to see me fix a PlayStation 3 or how to fix a yellow lighted death, but I hope you learned something useful from this. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here and you like seeing someone struggle to fix broken electronics, why not subscribe to the channel so you can be one of the first to see if I repair it or if it's just gonna be for parts. Whatever you do, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one.